And joining me now is Leon Panetta, former CIA director and defense secretary in the Obama administration. Hi, Leon. It's good to see you. This was a triumph of diplomacy. There's no question about it. And you know very well that our intelligence operatives covertly were very involved, including one of the great experts in our administration, Bill Burns, who had been formerly an ambassador to Moscow and is fluent in Russian. Let's talk about the role of the CIA in figuring out who might be available in different countries that were Russian operatives that could be traded, who could be invaded upon. The leaders of such countries could be invaded upon by the president, who knew a lot of these leaders, not just Schultz, but Slovenia and some of these other countries, to press for, we know you don't want to give these people up, but this is the only way we can get out our people. Enlarging the deal in order to get Evan and Paul Whelan, not to leave him behind again.
Well, obviously the CIA is very familiar with Putin's game. This is Putin's game. This is the autocrat's game, which is to pick up innocent people, falsely charge them, and that hope that you can get the price you want in some kind of exchange. And so I'm sure our intelligence people know where their people are located, those that they would like to have back. And I'm sure that the linchpin in this deal was Krasikov, and whatever was done to try to get Germany to agree to release Krasikov, I think was critical, because Putin wants to be able to say to others that he was able to get somebody who performed the role of the FSB and was able to say to others that we also don't leave anybody behind. That's Putin's game, and the CIA is very familiar with it. Bill Burns is very familiar with it, and I'm sure it helped a great deal in putting together the pieces that ultimately produced this landmark deal.
And in fact, Russia got back from Slovenia a family of spies. Some people there didn't even know that they were Russians. It's like the Americans who were burrowed underground as moles in the U.S. and traded in 2010, I think. And this creates some tensions between the FBI, which prosecutes some of these people, you know, the Americans that we gave up, you know, in previous, like Victor Bout in the previous exchanges, and the intelligence operatives who are so active in finding these spies. But in this case, we were getting our allies to try to find people, Russians, who might be traded.
I remember that very well. We picked up 10 Russian spies at the time. And I remember calling my Russian counterpart and telling him, we have your spies. And he didn't disagree. He said, you do. And we immediately began to discuss what I'm sure happened here, which is, can we develop a trade? And we looked at people that we thought were important, that we wanted back, and they were willing to put them on the table. And we ultimately had an exchange in Vienna of their spies for a return of those that we wanted back. Look, this is it's not a pleasant game. It's a very depressing game that Russia plays here, and they'll continue to do it. And I think, Jake Sullivan is right. We can't allow these innocent people to simply rot in jail. We have a responsibility to do everything we can to bring them back. And clearly the administration, the vice president, Jake Sullivan, and others worked every angle here to try to develop a deal. And I'm glad they arrived at a deal. I'm glad we were able to get this done. I'm glad we got Evan Gershkovich back. I'm glad we got Paul Whelan and these dissidents back. But it does raise a concern about how long do we have to continue to play this Putin's game, because it results in innocent people losing their freedom.
Let me ask you to switch your expertise to the Middle East for just a moment, because I've been told by Israeli friends and others that U.S. airlines are canceling their flights to Ben Gurion. Everyone's bracing for retaliation. And now we learned that the Israelis, everyone acknowledges that except Israel, the Israelis pulled this off, this assassination of the Hamas leader, in a guest house. Hania, who was the political representative, the negotiator for the ceasefire deal, in Tehran, having just met with the supreme leader at the inauguration of the new Iranian president, with a bomb that had been planted several months earlier. So penetration of the IRGC in their own guest house. I mean, it's extraordinary. And remotely set off. Not a drone, not a missile strike, but a bomb.
This
The
is
president
very
was
much
asked last night. Yeah, the president was asked last night at Andrews about, will this, what is the impact on the ceasefire talks? And he said it's not helpful, grimly, because the U.S. believed that they were on the precipice of something really big. The risk reward here.
I'm sure that at the same time, Mossad targets these kinds of people, and frankly, one of the things that we've encouraged Israel to do is to target the leaders of Hamas that were involved in the attack on Israel, and they're the best at targeting. This bomb was put in place 2 months ago into the guest house. And it was detonated when they knew that this Hamas leader was present. Obviously, going after the leadership that was involved in the attack is what Israel should be doing. At the same time, obviously, it could well impact on the negotiations involved with the ceasefire. But that is what war is all about. And ultimately, it's the price you have to pay in order to be able to make sure that you're going after those responsible for killing Israelis.